Going. Mm. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the lunch break today here at FNGO Thursday, July 31st, 2025. Got a pretty good topic for you guys today. Got some griping I'm going to do, and I want you to join in the conversation. And if you're watching on TikTok, hey, we want you to jump in as well and just spend an hour and a half with us. Give you guys a little bit of a break during the middle of the day, and while guys are getting on, we'll let them we'll let the YouTubers and the Facebook guys catch up. Because what's up, Dino? Because I started it about a minute early. We know how things are different when people start something when they say they're supposed to or ain't or whatever. So anyway, what we're going to talk about today is what's up, Dino? Appreciate you joining us, man. I saw a list yesterday. Steve Sturgeon, lunchtime. What's going on, buddy? I saw a list yesterday where some website ranked, what's up, John? Ranked the 30 best lakes in the state of Georgia. And I 100% disagree with them. So I'm going to gripe about that list here in a little bit. Also, too, I want to let you guys know, hey, listen, for those that watch the live, well, you know we have sponsors. If you or your company want to sponsor the lunch break, we're starting to look for companies that want to partner with us to get their brand out in front of people. So reach out to me. You can hit me, Danny at fngo.com. You can shoot me an email, and we'll see if we can work something out for you guys. And consignment. So here at the FNGO shop at Fish, North Georgia, starting tomorrow, I am creating a consignment shop. So if you guys if you don't want to deal with the Facebook marketplace and having to go meet people over there and meet them at the cops and all that kind of stuff, or just don't want to travel and have to go meet people in general, we're going to allow you to bring in some of your used equipment. And by that, I mean your rod and reels. If you got some high end baits like, glide baits, big swim baits, and you want to put them in here and they're in decent shape, we're going to do that as well. Also, if you've got older electronics, if you got things that are sitting around the house that you want to make a few extra bucks on and you want to bring them up here, put them in the shop, we're going to allow you to do that. We'll talk the business side of it. We'll take just a small percentage off of the total sale. And but it's just a way for you to actually put them in front of people. And like I said, now let me just be quite honest and straight up. If you got an extra pack of Zoom Flukes, I'm not really looking for those kind of things. Okay. I want something that I got Zoom Flukes on the wall. So you guys kind of know what I'm talking about. Good rod and reel combos, or just a reel or just a rod, whatever it is, you set the price. We're going to allow you to put it in here. And when it sells, you will get your money. Danny wants 50%. No, dude, look, maybe 10. Okay. Wait, what? Danny, great idea. Can I mail you a handful of nice rods? Yeah. You can do whatever you want. And let's just say it's $100. You set the price at $100. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to take 10% off of it, and I'm going to send you 90 when it sells. So, we can work it out that way. But it's just something that we want to do, because I know a lot of guys absolutely gripe. Yeah, listen, I'll take 50% if you want. I bought the Duckett Jacob Wheeler rods last year. I hate them, $189 new. Ship them to me and set a price, and I'll get you some money too. Guitars too. Hey, listen, I might sell a guitar in here. Or also too, if you got like high-end apparel, like a rain suit or waders, something like that, fly boots, anything like that, if it's nice and I can sell it. Dino says I have a few casting rods I could sell. Bring them up here, Dino. I'll put them up on the rack, and we'll see if we can sell them for you. But I just want to, I know a lot of guys talk about that and they hate dealing with marketplace. And so we're going to offer you guys that. And, and if I'm be honest with you, put some inventory in my store that I ain't got to pay for up front, because it's going to be true consignment. Okay. True consignment. So anyway, let's get started on today. Let's do our day in history, as we always start off with. And this one I found to be interesting. There were a lot of different things that happened today, but this one, think about today's environment in the political world. Address to mail to. I don't have the keyboard out here in front of me, so I'm going to read it out. Okay. 11262 Highway 53, Marble, that's Marble, Hill, Georgia, 30148. And if you don't get it, you can shoot me a messenger on Facebook or something. But it's 11262 Highway 53, Marble Hill, Georgia, 30148. 10% is great, comparable to eBay without the shipping hassle. Put in the chat, possibly. All right, hold on a second. Just hang tight. Let me go get that keyboard. Didn't expect to have to use this right here, so I didn't have it out here with me. But let me go ahead and type it. Let me see if I can get this going right here. Post a comment. Normally, I got a guy back there that does this. All right, 11262 Highway 53, Marble Hill. Y'all like the way I type? Georgia, 30148. How about that? There it is. It should be in the chat right there. All right, so now, Aquaholic, I could have typed it for you, Danny. I wish you could have. I am not the best at multitasking. Anybody knows me knows that. Let's jump on the Danny needs a secretary. Yeah, he does. I need customers and secretaries. Hey, listen, try it out. And if it don't sell, and let's just say I got it 2 months later, and you're like, hey, I'll tell you, look, nobody's buying it. I'll ship it back. Looks like about 6 words per minute, guy. Yeah, you know why? Let me tell you why, Aaron. Because when I was in high school, you had electives, right? And I took electronics. So right across the hall at Forsyth, it's called Forsyth Central now, but Forsyth County High back in the day, were the kids over there taking typing. And I was the guy that sat over there because our electronics teacher did not make us do any work. He owned an electronics repair shop. So basically all he did was come in, teach a couple classes, worked half a day, I guess for insurance, whatever. His name was Ralph Martin. He was an absolutely fantastic guy. Fantastic guy. And then he, what's up, Tony? But we really didn't do anything until we took an exam. So basically, I sat in there and wrote Van Halen symbols and all on my notebooks and stuff like that, while them kids across the street were like, chick, 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 and I made fun of them. I'm sorry. This is one of the things I regret in my life. I made fun of the kids taking typing. And I really regret that now because, boy, I could have used it. Aquaholic, same here. Like, seriously, I did. I shouldn't have. I did. I feel bad. I hope they forgive me, but it is what it is. But yeah, I got these sausage fingers here, and I'm just you know. So, Danny, this gets us through the long work days. Well, I appreciate helping you guys with that. So let's do the day in history. Think about today's political environment, and then listen to this. On this day in history, 1972, the year I was born, okay, 53 years ago, Vice presidential candidate Thomas Eagleton withdrew from the Democratic ticket with George McGovern following disclosures that he had received electroshock therapy to treat clinical depression. So in 1972, a man had gotten shock therapy because he was depressed. And it was such a big issue back in 1972 that he had to withdraw from the presidential ticket. Now, you think about what guys got in the closet these days. And this ain't a Republican versus Democrat versus anything. You guys know yourself what you got in your closet. I know what's in my closet. I got a closet full of stuff, and it's going to stay in the closet. But think about that. In 1972, it was such a big deal. He had to withdraw from the nomination to be the vice president of the United States because he had somebody light him up a few times because he was depressed. And that was probably, at that time, some really high-tech treatment. I just found that to be, number one, I found it interesting because that was the year I was born. And number two, because now there is not a politician out there on either side that ain't got junk in his closet. And we let things slide. We let things slide nowadays. We've either become too accustomed to it or whatever. I'd be depressed too if I was on a Democratic ticket. Alcoholic said, "Hey, listen, I get it. I get it. Like I said, this is just, it goes on both sides. Looking at the current VP and the stuff he's hiding in his closet. And listen, well, it is what it is. Today they'd have to be powering. Ha ha ha, yeah. Wake up call. I'll take a quick 12 volt, but that's wild that he had to quit. Seriously. I mean, think about what's in the closet today. But that is the way our society has changed in the last 53 years. Jason Nelson, good afternoon from North Carolina, buddy. Appreciate you joining us. All right, appreciate you joining us. But just think about that. I just went with one today just because I thought, you know what? That's ridiculous in today's thing. Like, I think half of them need shock therapy, if you ask me. Back in the 70s, the biggest thing. Now, again, I was just born, so of course I wasn't aware of this. Didn't even know it happened. Didn't even know it happened until I looked it up today. Nothing is out of bounds nowadays. It's wild west out there. Justin Nichols Productions. These days, politicians get accused, charged with something on either side, and their supporters double down and make excuses for them. And scandal was always, I'm so afraid of saying anything on TikTok. We're going to use whoopee. Scandal was whoopee with politicians. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'll just be straight up. I'll be straight up. I voted for Trump. Now, let me say this. He was the lesser of two evils, if we're being honest. Speaking of politics, DJI dropped their 360 cameras today, but we can't buy it in the U.S. Also can't get a drone from them. This stinks. Wow, Tony, I didn't know that. Careful, Danny, you'll get blocked on TikTok again. That's why I went with Whoopi Superior or Boss Lady. But yeah, Tony, why can you not get them? Why can you not get that new camera? Is it Jason Nelson? Any word on Lake Chatuge fishing? The only person I've had that conversation with in the last week on Chatuge was basically very similar to what it is on Lanier. Now, I could be totally wrong, and this guy could be totally wrong. I'm definitely going 100% on what this guy said. It was the fact that all the fish are down deep, pinned to the bottom. Pinned to the bottom, very lethargic. So they were going after, this guy was going after him with a shaky head, with a jig, that they were throwing stuff across the top, trying to call them up, but couldn't get them called up. Now, again, that's one angler's perspective. So I don't really want to say that's the authoritative thing to do on Lake Chatuge right now. But based upon this one angler, it was tough. It was tough. It was hard for me to decide between voting for the man and the ideology. So, I mean, yeah, it was tough. Is the Trumpster clean? I don't know. Probably not. I don't think any of them are. I really don't think any of them are. Could you imagine if they really came out with a tell-all of just what the politicians actually had their hands in at this moment? Not even talking about their past. But it even goes down to the local level. And like I said, I don't want to talk politics because Lord knows I don't want to get into that. But you sit back and sometimes you just look at the decisions and where things are going and you're like, huh. The only thing I do agree with, and you guys can blast me on it, is I don't think politicians should be allowed to buy or sell stocks while they're in office. Too much power in the regulatory stuff that they can mess with. Apparently, there has been something in regards to labor in China. DJI in the U.S. can't get past. All their products were held up in customs, and it all shows out of stock for U.S. buyers. But I'm not 100% sure about it because I don't do politics. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you mentioned Clinton, Fred, and we're talking Bill. We're talking Bill. Seems like the stuff Bill did wasn't really that kind of off the wall, right? He just shouldn't have lied about it. He got caught. Yesterday, seen yesterday on the water what exactly y'all were talking about with them facing down in a brush pile. Turns out they won't hit a crankbait facing down, but will hit a drop shot. They go down. They're going down on them for sure. Danny, what's Groove on my hat? This is Groove Fishing. This is this new line of tackle storage that I'm helping to get back out there. It's an existing company that was recently purchased, and the two owners now are really making a push to bring it back to market, get it back in stock, upgrade, and everything. And so I am helping them to kind of get the word out, to get the awareness out with Groove. And I recommend everybody check it out. If you want to come by the shop, you can check them out on Tackle Warehouse. Some of the items are in stock, some are not, but it's pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Let's see. The stuff that Bill did, girls now get paid to do on OF. Yep. 100%. When you bring in the cash braid in the shop, Dino, I'm getting ready to reset the entire shop, and it's on the list. I'm changing the whole shop around over the next few weeks. And so I've got a master list of what I want to bring in. A lot of smaller companies. I'm going different. I'm going to start bringing in a lot of the smaller custom bait guys, a lot of the smaller out-of-state guys. I'll still have your Zooms and stuff like that, but I want to change it around to promote those guys. And to be honest, just to make our shop a little bit different. And you're not giving him a pass. I'm telling you, where's your shop? It's located in Marble Hill, Georgia, which is halfway between Dawsonville and Jasper. Big Bait John, you'll come help me out. Got to do it. Got to do it. Can't say if I was a girl, I'd be doing the same thing. I'm not even reading the rest of that. Bring JDM Baits in, Zach Bryant. Well, I'm going to try. So I'm going to go ahead and make a list right here when you guys recommend stuff. I just want to be different. But it's in Marble Hill, Georgia. If you go to fngo.com, it'll kind of show you. I know plenty of guys that make big swim baits I can get in. I don't know if you'll still sell Bait Sanity. I haven't had any Bait Sanity in a while. Hey, Danny, the cash braid, is that only for spinning rods? Haven't had a chance to check. No. A lot of guys. Can I put a trailer out front? Boss lady, you can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. I told you I am here to help you guys out. No, a lot of guys use the cash braid on their bait casters. I personally have it just on my spinning rods. Okay, just personally, I have it on my spinning rods. It's effective either way. Effective either way. Now, so I mentioned it earlier. This great list. You get you a big bait corner. I'm gonna do it, Jeremy. I'm gonna do it. But I'd love to have something that you can't find on Tackle Warehouse, stuff like that. I put the cast on a bait caster the other day. It's legit. It is. So there's last night I'm sitting there and I have to, cast braid is like casting sewing thread. It's so thin. It is. It is slick, dude. It is very, very slick. NIS, I don't even know how to pronounce that, with leader on some of my bait casters. Yeah, a lot of guys got their favorite braid for sure. And sometimes it's just like NASCAR, you're brand loyal. And I'm brand loyal to a point. But if something comes along, unless it's not been ripped off from a bigger company, by a bigger company, I'll check anything out. But I'm telling you that cash braid, and I say it every day, I am not sponsored by them. I got some other cool things though, like this. Like we saw these down at ICAST. I have a group staff sponsorship from Spro, and they sent me a bunch of these they're called larva, and it's like these mini spinner baits and some trout, basically some trout stuff, some inline spinners that I'm going to try out and do some video work with. But I really got my eye on this little larva thing because you guys can't see it. I don't know if you can or cannot, but it is a very, very small spinner bait. To me, if you want to have some ultralight fun, you can chunk these for trout. Trout might hit them, but I'm thinking bluegill, shell cracker, spotted bass. Oh, I tell everybody, if you fish Latham in the spots or schooling and you can't get bit, chunk a rooster tail in there, and you would be surprised at what happens. After our conversation with Ryan at ICAST, I'm not afraid to use cast. Ryan might rough me up. Listen, Ryan Hanks is colorful. You get a couple of adult beverages in him, he's colorful. What's up, John? And then he and we both get colorful together, and everybody thinks we're mad. And I love the kid to death. And I can call him kid. He's younger than me. Love him to death, but it's funny. He gets loud. He's passionate. That's the way to say it. He's passionate, and I like pushing his buttons. Oh, which leads me, I almost forgot to the Gen Z word of the day. Okay, let's do that real quick. Yeah, you should love him. He's a good dude. So a lot of you guys have heard this one, but I didn't understand exactly what it meant until I looked it up. I've heard it, but I didn't know it. So the Gen Z word of the day is Rizz, R-I-Z-Z. Rizz, R-I-Z-Z. And what it means is having the ability to charm or flirt with someone, essentially having great charisma or having game. All right. Now, it's often used in social situations, especially when talking about romantic situations or dating. However, it can be used for this. If you are effortlessly able to make someone else laugh and feel comfortable, you might be described as having Rizz. I believe, boys, I got Rizz. That might be the only superpower I got. So I saw that. I'm like, hey, for one time. Now we ain't talking about the romantic or dating stuff. I'm married. I got all I need at home. But you guys remember yesterday we were talking about the names for your Johnson and going home and trying that. I said it in front of my wife, and I don't even think she even acknowledged that I said it. You know, I said I used dank, and I used like the flobber gobber or whatever that word was from the 1600s. And she just looked at me like, all right, can we go to Walmart now? What about aura? A-U-R-A. Nathan, I don't even know what that is. But anyway, if you are able to have conversations with people, did you use Pizzle? No, I didn't use Pizzle. Well, my phone's right here. Hold on a second. I'll tell you the one I used. But she didn't even acknowledge it. Like, it was so off the wall that she absolutely just was like, no, not even doing it. It was, where is it at? It wasn't Twiddle Diddles. Good grief. Oh, Jock'em Clisterflump. Jock'em Clisterflump. So I said something like, we can get dank with my Jock'em Clisterflump or something like that. And she just walked right by me. She has no time for your crap. She didn't even acknowledge it, man. I was very let down. I was very, very, very let down because I really wanted to see if I could pull off the Jock'em Clisterflump. And it bombed, guys. It bombed. But anyway, Todd Huntley, high school national championship, Clarksville today. Let's go Gibson and Blaine Chapman. High school, absolutely, man. She's got a filter. She don't know what it means, Tony, other than she just ignores me. That's what her filter is. Danny's speaking, and she has developed this iron dome, not only the way we talk about it, but a mental iron dome. And then she just in one ear, right out the other. But I did change the toilet lid yesterday that needed changing, and I took some trash out, took the trash down. So I got a few brownie points there. I call that home improvement. Small bait companies to check out for your shop. Bruiser Baits, they're on the list already, but I'll write them down again just to make sure. Deep South Lure Company, and then 4-7 Lures. Also, too, Cooper is fishing at Todd Huntley from up here. And actually, I had a kid in my shop today. Tim Gossett. Hello from Tim Gossett. Messick Outdoors cousin. I love this channel. Well, buddy, we love you jumping on. Appreciate you. Fish Stalker Lures. You guys, I'm not even going to get anything done today because I'm going to be making a list. But you guys keep them coming. But yeah, anytime I do something, you know what we guys do? We do a little home improvement. We do something and we look at our wife with those beady eyes like they owe us something. That don't work either. But yeah, my Jock'em Clisterflump being dank with that absolutely failed. So anyway, yesterday, I have a couple other guys helping me that core tackle that have administrative abilities on the Fish North Georgia group page. And this one come across, and it was the best 30 lakes in Georgia. Ranking the best 30 lakes in Georgia. And I think one of the other guys might have let it through. I didn't. Have you heard of Georgia Boy Lures? No, but I'll write them down. So I was looking at it, and I opened it up, and I could not believe could not believe this list. And basically, this list is like what we dealt with last year when Fish Stalker, Crappy Jigs. So there was a company out of New York City last year that ranked Lake Allatoona as the most beautiful lake in Georgia. And at the time, we said, tell me you've never fished in Georgia or been on Lake Allatoona in Georgia without letting me know you've never been on Lake Allatoona in Georgia. Well, this is the exact same thing. Tell me you've never fished in Georgia. Tell me that you just went on the internet and pulled 30 lakes. Because when I read you some of these lakes, oh, did you let it through, Tony? Okay, I knew one of you guys had done it. I haven't gone back. I ain't had time this morning to go back and check it out. I've had people in front of me all morning long. So I'm going to read you this list. But the company, the website that put it out was fishmasters.com. And I went and checked out their site. It's not that impressive. But it was created in 2008 by father, son, Chuck and Brian. They didn't give a last name. Jeremiah Burton might be the prettiest lake. Chattooga is very beautiful too. But they're from the home area. Their home area is Philadelphia. So we got a couple of Philly fans that are ranking Georgia's lakes. When I read it, I couldn't let it slide. So Tony's read it. He knows where we're going with. Now, I'm going to read you the list. And people are using AI to generate a lot of these lists, generates money with little effort. I know, Atlanta Outdoors. I know. But good Lord, we need to fix the AI. I'll read you the first 5. We'll start at 30. Okay? We'll start at 30. And number 20, 29 and 28 will be some of the guys on here I know fish a little bit, and they can tell you. But the 30th best lake, according to fishmasters.com, in the state of Georgia is Tallulah Falls Lake. Tallulah Falls Lake. I don't know much about it. The 29th best lake is Lake Ackworth. And if John Alder is watching, he don't want no. What's up, Atlanta Safe House? He don't want nobody knowing about Lake Ackworth. But it did get the list. But you got to read some of the comments about Lake Ackworth. They were talking about like it's a dump. And it really is. But it's got some great fishing. Now, this is the one that just blew me away. 28th is Yahulah Creek Reservoir. And for those of you that don't know what Yahulah is, it is a maybe 100 acres, if that. It's in Dahlonega, Georgia. When it first opened, it was pretty cool. But it is one of the, if you want to go over and catch some small ones, I feel like it's easier to catch a stud than a decent fish. STD, I'm sorry. I feel like it's easier to catch an STD than a decent fish at Lake Ackworth. It's Atlanta Safe House. Yeah, I know. But Yahulah Creek, I wouldn't even put it. What's up, Kevin Control? I wouldn't put Yahulah Creek in the top 50 of lakes in Georgia. It's too small for us to do electric tournaments on anymore. Unless guy catches that unicorn fish, you're going to catch 5 fish for 5.8 pounds. Got a 20-boat tournament, which a 20-boat tournament on, that's the absolute most that can handle. And all you're doing is you're sitting there and it's a merry-go-round. Somebody's in that spot and he's going to fish it, and you wait and you run over there and get it. That's all it is. Unless you're Danny Pettijohn, and Danny Pettijohn, great guy. That joker getting one spot. And he'll get in that spot and he will just wet every worm he's got, and he's patient. He ain't moving. But it's terrible. It's a terrible lake. I will go ahead and tell you this, guys. For you guys in the North Georgia area, Latham didn't make this list. Hickory Log didn't make this list. Rocky Mountain PFA didn't make this list. Cedar Creek, what's that one over in Athens? Hard Labor didn't make this list. So you know these guys ain't even messed with these electric-only reservoirs. But Yahulah Creek came in at 28. Now, at that point, I knew. The second I saw Yahulah on any list of the top lakes in Georgia, I'm like, these guys have never, ever, ever fished Yahulah Creek. No way. Number 27 is Lake Kedron. Never heard of it, but it's in Peachtree City. So it's definitely got to be a small lake. Electric only, I don't know. Let me get my thing back here. Now listen to this one. Any South Carolina, Georgia lakes make the list. Yeah, they did. You're going to have to wait, Messick. You got to be patient, my man. You got to be patient. You think for five for 5.5 is bad. I got one that you can win five for 4 pounds. Yeah, dude, it's seriously. Now, back in the day, Latham used to be like that before the Bluebacks got in there. I won a high voltage tournament over there. 5 fish for 5.2, 5.3 out of 20 boats, or maybe more than 20 boats. And, okay, Jeremiah says, Lake Kedron is tiny, and I think they charge $300 a year to fish it. Well, I guarantee these guys ain't fished it. Listen to this one at number 26. Okay. You tell me that there's 25 lakes in the state of Georgia better than Lake Eufaula. Lake Eufaula came in at number 26. Now, you guys seriously tell me that there's 25 better lakes in Georgia than Lake Eufaula. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, but that's what they said. Number 25. Yeah, bearded catfishing. Wow. Number 25, Reed Bigham Lake. It's in Adele, somewhere down south. Hell, I ain't even never heard of it. Now, I don't know all the lakes in Georgia, especially the smaller ones, but in our world, we talk to enough guys that if a lake's good, it comes up in the conversation. Chamber must not have made the payment. Those rankings are just AI way to get clicks. I know it is, but still, we're going to fix the AI. We got to do something about it. Now, number 24 and number 23 are very much similar because they're right there with each other. Lake Yona and Lake Tougaloo. So I think these are the ones that come out of Burton. I think that's it. Now, pretty lakes, small lakes. A lot of guys like to fish them. Could they be top 30 lakes? Yeah, maybe. For all you electric only guys, coming in at 22, Lake Varner. Now, I can tell you in the electric only world, Lake Varner ain't top 5. It is with those that like to fish it, but for the most guys, Lake Varner is not getting you top 5. Maybe top 10, but not top 5 in electric only. Yona is practically a large pond, says the boss lady. Yes, I know. And it made the list. It's crazy. Number 21, High Falls. Okay, High Falls. Yeah, it is what it is. Number 20, Lake Blue Ridge. Lake Blue Ridge. I can see, now listen, all your main lakes, all your big lakes should be on this list. But you're telling me that Lake Blue Ridge is better than Eufaula? I can tell you the guys that fish it don't think so. Or at least the ones that talk to us. Number 19, Juliet. Number 18, hell, I can't even pronounce this. I can't. Tobasovsky. So you guys down south, that's got to be down south. So I don't know much about it. Now, I haven't seen the list, but my top 5 would be Oconee, Lanier, Sinclair, Clarks Hill, and Jackson. Well, they're all coming. Blue Ridge is junk for bass. I know it. It's in Macon. Okay, it's in Macon. 99999 at 999 at 999 said on TikTok. But number 17 is Chatuge. Number 16 is Russell. Number 15 is Lake Seed. Now, Lake Seed is one of those that's attached, I believe, up here with Yona and Tougaloo. It's kind of like a river system. So they have a little bit of a lake, a little bit of lake, a little bit of lake. You're telling me Lake Seed, Tobosovsky. There you go. Thank you, DP. I love you guys. Moist Donut. Varner used to be good. My friend caught his PB there, 13.5 pounds. We haven't fished it in 10 years, though. Now, listen, Varner, when it came out, or back in the late 80s, early 90s, give or take 5 years either way, was amazing. Had all that grass in there. And it still has some good fish in there. But it is the windiest lake in the history of the world. Every time I've fished on Varner, it seems like the wind is blowing 25 miles an hour. And we're fishing electric only tournament. So it's like you go through a battery quick there. But I've never had a lot of luck on that. But number 15 was Lake Seed. I'm telling you, Lake Seed is not better than Chatuge. Lake Seed is not better than Lake Eufaula. So 5 is Cy Lake. I don't know what that is, Mike Geiger, what you're saying right there. Now, here we go. So here's your top 14. Here's your top 14. Coming in at 14 is Carter's. Now, here's the thing about Carter's. There's two types of anglers that come in the shop when discussing Carter's Lake. Those that love it and those that hate it. And I can tell you, if we were doing Randy Blockett percentages, if I was doing a thumbnail for Randy Blockett, it would sound like this. 95% of all bass guys hate Carter's Lake. No way Eufaula is not top 10. I'm telling you, dude, Eufaula was 26th. Crazy. Barner was a monster bass factory until they killed the grass. Yes, Jeremiah. That's pretty much what everybody says. Trying to say that Seed Lake has some monster bass in it. My two personal best, 10 and 10.5 came out of that lake. I'm not saying it's not great. I fished Carter's my whole life. Love it in January. Hit or miss every other time, says Jordan G. I got you, dog. Seriously. But if I were doing a Randy Blockett thing, it would be 95% of all bass anglers cannot stand Carter's Lake. So Fred Ashcraft goes, Carter's over Eufaula? Yeah, negative, Ghost Rider. And I know some of you guys would have opinions on things like this. Number 13, Lake Blackshear. Number 12, Seed is is between Lake Burton and Lake Rabun. Well, at number 12, Mike Geiger, Lake Rabun. At number 12, you're telling me Lake Rabun, is the 12th best lake in the state of Georgia. What are they judging the list off of? Just the best fishing lake or looks? I can tell you what they're judging at Messick on nothing. On nothing. Wasn't Eufaula in the Bassmaster top 10 more than a few times? Yeah. Listen, Eufaula is one of the, everybody that talks about it loves fishing Eufaula. Loves it. Now, here's one I find funny. I know Jonathan Farmer probably ain't watching today. Coming in at number 10. Here's your top 10 best lakes. And can't argue about Blackshear at 13. And I ain't fished it, so I'm just going to have to go with that. You're probably right. Some of these lakes I've never been on. But here's your top 10 best lakes in Georgia in a descending order. Number 10, Lake Notley. Jordan said, I heard it was good. Yeah, it is. Lake Notley. Now, here's the deal with Lake Notley. And tonight on the live well, we'll have Rob Robleski on with us, and he fished Notley a ton. Lake Notley, at certain times of the year, will crank out big fish. Big fish. Big largemouth bass that's got good spots in it. Is it a top 10 lake in Georgia? I don't know, because outside of that window, a lot of guys struggle when they go to Notley. And they bring it down every year. It gets drawn down a lot. Number 9, Lake Sinclair. Lake Sinclair. Now we're getting down to some of them southern lakes. Sinclair's got a good reputation. But is it like Notley then Sinclair? Lake Seminole didn't make the cut? Yeah, it did. I ain't got there yet. No, Rabun is not that good. So you're telling me Rabun is not Rabun is not a top 15 lake in the state of Georgia. I'm going to take your word for it. I've not heard a lot of guys talk about it in that way. Sinclair, then Oconee on the river. Well, you would think that. But listen to the rest of the list, and you'll see the difference between what these people think of Lake Sinclair and then Lake Oconee. Number 8, West Point. West Point. Yeah, West Point has a heyday. No, I meant geographically. Okay, I got you. So, West Point back in the day was big. It's not talked about as much. When I saw West Point in the top 10 over Eufaula, I said, wow. Yeah, see? That's kind of the way some of this is. Number 7 is Lake Jackson. Sinclair may be top 20, but not top 10. That's what DP's Fishing Misadventure said. So Lake Jackson comes in at number 7, and I've not fished it. I've heard guys talk about it in here. But here's the thing is, I haven't heard them talk about it like it's like, oh my gosh, you got to go fish Jackson. That is the best lake. You don't hear it. Now, maybe it is, maybe it ain't. I don't know. West Point is coming back, but not top 10. I used to live in LaGrange when I was little. And my only memory of West Point was going behind the dam and fishing. Jackson is a good winter lake. Okay, there you go. I don't know much about it. Lower Lake at Carter's is going to be number one. No, I didn't make the list, Jordan G. If it did, I probably would have just went straight up and made a post right then and there. The Spots took over West Point. Well, welcome to Georgia, that's for sure. Spotted bass take over every lake. But I remember we used to go when I was little behind the dam there, and we would catfish. If I believe it, I'm 53, so we're talking when I was in kindergarten, first grade. There used to be like a railing or something behind the dam, but a lot of people would go back there and fish the tailwaters. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. Who would put Jackson anywhere near the top 20? There's a lot of fish, but even Allatoona is better than that. West Point is top 10 for numbers, just not size. Moist Donut said, I had a client on Lake Sinclair. He only fished Jackson Lake. Okay. Moist Donut, you're from down south? I didn't know that. I got to figure out where a lot of you guys are, but I swear that's one of my favorite screen names on all of YouTube. The guys that come in and watch us and follow us is Moist Donut. Because, like, dude, there's a story. There's got to be a story behind that name. But every time I see you in the comment section, it just makes me smile thinking about a Moist Donut. All right. Number 7 was Lake Jackson. Number 6. Oh, Tony says real quick, from what I've heard, West Point also has blueback hair, and I have no evidence of that. And Moist Donut, you're in Gwinnett. Well, that might make sense of Moist Donut there. You're from Gwinnett. We won't hold that against you. Fish Jackson as a kid, but hard to believe is top 10. Yeah, it's. Yeah, well, I don't think it is. But number 6, boys, the 6th best lake in all of Georgia, Allatoona. Lake Allatoona comes in rolling with this bluebacks are blazing now, and the spotted bass are growing at number 6. Which, they're fired. Which, the Allatoona boy, the Dead Sea, it ain't quite as dead as it used to be, but, them Allatoona boys are proud of it. And I'm not saying it's not fun to fish. Every time I go over there and fish, we catch fish. Now, I will say that Lake Allatoona, as far as the northern lakes go and as far as our social media is concerned, and I've said this before many times on this, there is a period of time in the spring where you will see big, and I mean big, largemouth come from Lake Allatoona. I mean, it's not bad, but to be that high on the list, yeah, I don't think so. And she's turning for sure. Yeah, we'll see where Allatoona is in 5 years. 5 years. I should have said I haven't fished it in 25 years. Well, Allatoona for sure is a decent lake. But here's what gets me, because coming in at Allatoona used to be one of the best winter lakes around. Yeah, now I can believe that. But you said used to be. Not is. Used to be. But here's what gets me, because coming in at number 5, and I am biased, and I think it is the best lake in the state of Georgia, but just barely beating Lake Allatoona, Lake Lanier. Lake Lanier. You're telling me that the spotted bass capital of the nation, a destination lake, is just ahead of Lake Allatoona and behind the other 4? And granted, listen, the other 4, there's one, maybe 2 in there that I'm like, nah, they're not better than Lanier. Whoever did this list doesn't fish at all ever. Lanier top 3 for sure. And I'm biased, but I mean, Lake Lanier spotted bass, you're not going to find that. Figured it would have been number 1. That's what I would have said in the state of Georgia. I remember Bassmaster did it last year. I haven't read their daggum lake rankings this year. I need to. But last year, it had 5 other lakes ahead. Agree on Lanier. She should be top 2. Yeah, 1, 2, or 3, A, B, or C, depending on what you like to fish for. But just barely beating Lake Allatoona is Lake Lanier. Hard to beat spot fishing on Lanier unless you go to Alabama. I need to get over to Alabama and fish some for sure. But when I saw Yahula even being on the list. That's why these lists are a waste of time. I know it, but it makes for good conversation and good content. But I saw Yahulah in Dahlonega. I was like, you gotta be kidding. And so from Lanier at 5 and the last 4 are all big lakes. What's up, Alex? So you're again, I mentioned it. Latham over here, Rocky Mountain PFA, even Hickory Log, Hard Labor Creek, a lot of the electric only reservoirs that guys fish are not on this list. Bassmaster Magazine said Lanier spotted bass are huge and fight like bluefin tuna. They do fight, though, Jeremiah. They do. They will bulldog you. I figured Lake Lanier was #1 spot lake in the nation. It is. It is. They reclassified the Alabama spot as its own unique species a couple years ago. They're mean. Yes, they are. Yeah, they're mean. But how in the world can you say Lake Lanier is the 5th best lake in Georgia? Let me go ahead and give you #4 because there's a lot of high schoolers over there. And I see Slick kind of jumped on for a second. He might be gone, but his boy's over there. And that's Clarks Hill. So they put Fishmaster.com, put Clarks Hill at #4. At #3 is Lake Seminole. Lake Seminole. I can get that one. I can get that one. At #2, and this is the one that blows my mind, because I talk to guys that fish this all the time. The second best lake in the state of Georgia, Horton, was a heck of a lake. Yeah, electric only. Yeah, it was. Not on the list. Clarks Hill should be top 3. Okay, yeah. Especially when I read this one. Oconee. Lake Oconee. I love to fish Lanier. Pickwick is my home water, and it just gets beat up. 100%, Jeff B. I got you there. But how many Oconee is fire in the fall? In the fall, listen, you can go to Lake Lanier and bust fish year round. Year round. That's the one thing. I have a tournament at Clarks Hill this Saturday. I hope it's good. You're going to be busy because there's a bunch of high schoolers over there. And they just had the junior high tournament because I had the kid that won it. I got his name written down in the shop earlier this morning. He actually won it. I agree Lanier is too low on the list. But Oconee, you guys think Oconee is the #2 best lake? No. Oconee may be top 10, but no more than 5. Who made this list, Alex? It's just fishmasters.com. Couple of guys from Philadelphia. Oconee's top 10. I'll give you the top 10. But there ain't no way in the world. No way in the world Lake Oconee's better than Lake Lanier. So, guys, before I reveal #1, while I continue to gripe about a few of these, I know, Alex, it was just fun. Surprised Hartwell didn't make it, but Russell did. Well, Messick, I was going to let you guys guess it. The #1 lake, according to Fishmasters.com, state of Georgia, Lake Hartwell. Lake Hartwell. Now, I know guys that love Lake Hartwell. I know you fish a lot. Chickamauga, well, Jordan G, it's great. I liked fishing it when I fished it. I ain't fished it. I thought Clark Hill was in South Carolina. It's on the border. So, I think they're smoking crack. Chamber of Commerce money. Where did they put Sinclair on the list? Sinclair came in at #9. Lanier is better than Hartwell. Yeah, I said it. There's a couple of border states. So, it is. It's right on the border. But Lake Hartwell, same thing. Close enough to be in Georgia. I get it, Jordan G. You're right. Sinclair is greater than Oconee to me. But they got Sinclair at #9 and Oconee at #2. If I think about guys coming here talking, the only reason it's #1 is because the Classic has been there so much. Yeah, I get it, Jeremy, but still, just tell me you ain't fished in Georgia in the last 15 years. I think you could get away. Listen, #1, I don't think Lake Allatoona should be #6. I don't think West Point should be top 10. I don't think Notley should be top 10 because I would put a lot of smaller lakes over there. Hartwell has made a major comeback in the last 5 years. Bluebacks make a difference. Oh, yeah. Cooper Martin, let them keep sleeping on Lanier. I know, buddy. I know exactly what you're saying. But I'll tell you this, guys. If Latham Reservoir had rock, and I mean on its points, Justin Nichols, definitely not top 10 as someone that lives here, no doubt. Clarks Hill should be over Hartwell. So here's where we get into it. What about Louisiana? I didn't see it, Keegan, but we can figure it out. Look, just go to fishmasters.com. Maybe they got a list. I don't know. Chattooga was the most underrated on the list. James Ramsey. Yeah, and I agree with that. Where was Chattooga at? 17. You're telling me that Notley, West Point, even Carter's is better than Lake Chattooga? I don't think so. That's your state. Hartwell's a good lake, but not number one. Well, Keegan, number one, hey, you're in Louisiana. Appreciate you jumping on, dude. We got a guy that follows us, Cranking and Yanking. That's his YouTube screen name. He comes on all our podcasts, and he's from Louisiana. Deep, clear water can be hard to fish for a lot of fishermen. So Lanier doesn't get the respect it deserves. And that kind of goes up with what Cooper's saying. Yeah, let them just sleep on it. It is hard, but once you figure it out, it's amazing. Carter's ain't better than Chattooga, no doubt. That's the way I think. Sometimes Sinclair should be number 11. That's what John says. Jump on DP. We'll catch you tomorrow. Jeremy Conrad. I've never fished in Georgia, and all I want to do is fish the rivers that have shoal bass. Jeremy, I haven't caught a shoal bass, and we talk about it. We're going to be doing that. We're going to film an episode of the Real American Road Trip down south with a bunch of my kayak brothers. Need to start telling everyone Lanier is junk so the traffic over there stops. I get it. But I got to go catch a shoal bass. Now, Tim Hancock, the only way to accurately see how good or productive lakes are is with a ton of creek surveys, and nobody does that. They used to do it a lot on Allatoona. Man, Flint River shoal are meaner than anything short of a smallmouth. That's what I hear. I want to get on the Flint River. We're going to go down south and film an episode. Let's see. So actually, guys, in the comment section too, pop in your top 5. Either way, whether you're on TikTok or wherever you're at. And for you guys, like you're in Louisiana, throw out your top 5 lakes in Louisiana because I don't know them. So Jeremiah did that. For me, top 5 is Lanier, Black Shoals, Cole, and I guess Burton and Seminole. I do love Allatoona and West Point just because the fish are stupid and easy to catch, nonstop action. Now, where is Cole at, Jeremiah? Where is Cole at? We live 10 minutes from Carter's and bypassed 3 lakes to go to Chattooga yesterday. One of my favorites. 100%. 100%. Let's see. Oh, so Jeremy, you're hooked up with John in the comment section. Them guys get on them shoal bass and all that. Creel, that's what you were talking about. Okay, so you're talking taking Creel surveys. So Charles Ashley Shellnut says Lanier, Hartwell, and these don't have to be in particular order, but his top 5 would be Lanier, Hartwell, Sinclair, Clarks Hill, Seminole. I cannot argue with that list. At all. But again, they got Sinclair 7 spots down from Oconee. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. South Carolina top 5, Santee, Murray, Clarks Hill, Hartwell, Russell, in that order. I got you. And I was talking about Latham over here. If Latham had rock, it would be okay. So look, Jordan G, number 1 Latham, number 2 Latham, number 3 Latham, number 4 Latham, number 5 Carter's, January 20 degrees, windy, rainy, if not Latham. I'm actually going to be with Alex. I'm going to be with Alex Purrs and them. Latham's in my front yard, Jordan. Like right across the street. Want to get into fishing in the kayak. That's what I was going to say. So my maiden voyage in my kayak will be Saturday on Latham. Going to get in with Alex. And I'm going, when I say Jeff B., Tennessee, top 5, Kentucky Lake, Dale Hollow, Pickwick, Chick, Center Hill. I've heard guys in the shop talk about all of those except Center Hill. But I'm going to be in a kayak Saturday, and I'm taking 2 Alex, if you're listening still, I'm taking 2 fishing rods. I've got no electronics on my kayak. I'm going to be paddling. I don't have any of all the gear you guys got on. I got a seat. So me, my seat, my life jacket / vest, and I'm taking 2 rods, and I'm taking the Insta360 to record it all. And I'm gonna tell you right now what I'm gonna be throwing. Before they killed so much grass in Eufaula, it would be number 2. Yeah, that would. And listen, and if I saw that on the list, even now, I wouldn't argue it. I wouldn't argue it at all. I'm gonna have a top water tied on, which will probably be a Spro E-Pop in chrome and blue, because I fished there enough and know it works. But I am going to throw one bait on the bottom the entire time, and it's not going to be a wacky rig. I am going to chicken rig it. Green pumpkin shaky head, really windy, white underspin, 3-inch low. That's all I hardly ever use there. Normally I throw a green pumpkin wacky worm. But I am going to be throwing a chicken rig for my buddy Dave Aldridge. And I am just, basically a Nico rig. I'm not throwing a whopper plopper, John. There's no way I'm going to curse my kayak on my first time ever out throwing a whopper plopper. I'm only taking 2 rods. I don't even think I'm going to take a net. But I'm going to throw that chicken rig, and I'm going to commit to the chicken rig all day long. So many lakes around that used to really be great, and over the years, they just got beat up to death. He caught a 10 on a plopper yesterday on Oconee. I won't hear it, John. Danny will have a yak on the marketplace Saturday night. Listen, Jeremy, I can't, because this was given to me by my buddies down at Westbrook, and I had it up here in the shop forever. I let Josh borrow it. He took it home, got it muddy. It got dirty in his yard. I might have to clean it. But I'm not putting a bunch of stuff in it. No electronics whatsoever. Again, Randy Blockett. So Dozer 21 goes a chicken rig with a question mark. So, all right, Danny's ready for that clap tail from Rapala. If I'm messing with any clap tail, it's going to be from Mrs. Pruitt, buddy. Ain't going to be from Rapala. Goofy looking bait. That's just one of them, like, they've run out of ideas. Let's just put a blade on the top of it. But anyway, Dozer, to basically, I'm always in a basic new canoe Frontier 12, Steven Sturgeon said. Yeah, we're going to go. I ain't putting all that crap on it. So a chicken rig is basically, think of a Nico rig. Okay, think of a Nico. You got a nail weight. You're throwing like a trick worm style worm, but it's weedless. So you take, and VMC's got these Nico hooks. It's got these 2 little pieces of basically what amount to fluoro with a bobber stopper in it. And so about a third of the way from the top of the worm, you take, and that's where you Texas rig it there. So the top of the worm is still bent over. And then you got your hook in the middle that's weedless. And then you got your nail weight on the bottom. They ran out of ideas decades ago. I know. Tim, how did I know that my friend Tim Hancock was going to come with that comment? Like, I knew it. Like, in my head, I was waiting for that comment, Tim. Atlanta Outdoors, I use the head and torpedo on my BFS. Makes me feel like I'm propping old school style. There you go. But basically, you take that chicken rig, which, again, it's really just a weedless Nico presentation. Why is it called a chicken rig? I asked Dave Aldridge, who's the one that taught me the chicken rig, showed it to me. I fished it over at Gunnersville in the grass. It does catch some fish. But why it's called a chicken rig, I ain't got a clue. I don't have any idea why they call it a chicken rig. In fact, half the baits out there, I ain't figured out how they got their names. All right, so in 4 minutes and 57 seconds, you guys over there on TikTok, you guys know the drill every day. I got to get up and kind of resume the live. So if you have a comment and I miss it, it's because I can't see it because my screen is kind of black. But we're going to keep talking, and then I will get up and kind of do what I got to do every day. Glad I didn't let you down. Tim Hancock, you never let me down. I knew it was coming. They need to bring back the Clacking Wrap. Those things were legendary. Got my order of Rosalo buzz baits in today, the Wee Whacker and the Bushwhacker. I haven't thrown the Brazalo stuff. I know the podcast guys have got some of it. They really do like it. He's a very nice guy, and I am going to see about if I can get some of his stuff in the shop. He's on my list. I did on Lanier, I threw the Spro Squealer Their new buzz bait in black comes with a trailer and all that. But I haven't thrown the Brazalo stuff yet. But I like, listen, that the Spro one, I've used the Spro buzz bait twice. I used it on Latham last tournament, and I used it over on Lanier, and I've caught fish on it both times. And I will tell you that, like with everything Spro, the hooks are always sticky. Always sticky. Jeremy Conrad says, I want a yak, but being 6'2", 300 pounds, and done had 2 back surgeries, just don't think I can find one that will be comfortable. And I get that. I get that. Or you could go spend the money and get one like Fluke Master that's got a casting deck on the front and just stand up the whole day. If I send a picture of a jig, could you build the same for me? Build some for me? Yes, message. Throw it to me on Facebook. If I got the skirt material, absolutely. But somebody's probably watching and saying, hey, you ain't got mine yet. Like Aaron Parker, I got to finish his farmers. But I'm just like, I'm so busy with that. People come in and want to know where my jigs are. Ryan is going to start tying jigs again. And let me tell you this, guys. I want to give Ryan Sheffield a shout out. If he ain't watching, you guys let him know. You know, we hired him a few years ago to come over here and tie our jigs first. And he taught me how to tie jigs. And he tied our jigs while he was here. And I would help him out when I could. And then, of course, things, you know, life, he's working somewhere else now. All good relationship. A lot of people love Ryan's jigs. And people have been wanting him to start tying again. And I respect this. I got to say this. He called me up and said, Danny, because he knows I do True Grit. He knows. But he asked me, would I mind if would I have a problem with him tying jigs and stuff again? And I was like, no way, dude. No, absolutely not. You do you, go make you some money. Because he ties a good jig. I mean, he's the one that taught me. He ties a dang good jig. Plus, he's got some buzz bait stuff. He's got a double prop buzz bait that, even though he loves what is that brand? The Event or whatever it is that we sell here. When he's fishing a tournament, he always used his custom one. And now you can buy them. And so I highly recommend you go check him out. But much, much, much love and much respect to Ryan Sheffield for thinking enough to say, hey, would it be a problem? And it absolutely never would be a problem. I want everybody to make money. I want everybody. And my cousin put out a thing on Facebook, and you guys ought to think about this with fishing, because a lot of gatekeepers out there don't want to show people spots, like they own certain spots of the lake. I'm not competing with you, and we're not competing against each other, because I'm rooting for you. And there is no competition when you're rooting for somebody. That's not the exact quote, but you get the gist of it. You guys, if you think you're sitting on a spot, and you're the kind of guy that ain't going to tell nobody about it, and you're not willing to show things to help others out, you're the one doing the competing. And that's not the way to be. Let's see. Ryan picked out a crankbait rod for my Deep Flat A, my favorite crankbait rod now. Right, Ryan ain't no dummy. Ryan knows his stuff. I learned a lot of stuff while he was here. Now, he's goofy in other ways. But I love Ryan Sheffield. I much respect that he had the respect to say, hey, would it be a problem? And it never would ever be a problem. All right, guys, listen. YouTube, don't go nowhere. I got 10 seconds. Let me go resume the live on TikTok, and I'll be right back. Let's see here. Well, I don't know if it kept you guys. It didn't. Well, if you're on TikTok, I hit the wrong button, so now the live is starting all over again. My bad. Didn't mean to do that. Mike Geiger, his top 5. Clarks Hill, Russell, Hartwell, Burton, and Chateaug, not particularly in that order. I get it. John G. Wilson, Daniel Woodcock with SEG KBF has a new canoe, loves his, and he's a big dude. And what's up, Diehard Anglers app? Good afternoon. So again, TikTok, if you're jumping back on TikTok, I hit the wrong button. So the entire live, if you were watching on TikTok, is going to have to start all over. But, it's interesting about Messick. Do an episode on tying jigs. I feel like I'd actually be able to learn from you. I don't know about that. It's not that hard. Don't make Messick Outdoors any jigs. He's already a hammer. It's all I can do just to try to keep up with him now. I will tell you this, Messick, you can send me a couple that you want me to tie, but there's a couple colors that we make down here in Georgia that just, they hammer. And just has to do with, listen, I'm not a gatekeeper. The color purple. When it comes, hey, Dino, you're back. I hit the wrong button, buddy. Sorry. The color purple on a jig in Georgia, in my opinion, is almost a necessity. Unless you use one like Farmers, which is basically as bland a 3-colored jig as you can get, but he likes it that way. He changes his up by the trailer and everything. And the way Farmers jig is, you can fish it year round in any application, just changing the fall rate and changing the color by your trailer. But if it's not a Farmer's jig, I'm telling you, the color purple, there's just something about it. And I'm sure somebody out there is going, oh my God, I can't believe Danny said that. Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. The color purple. My best selling jigs are the Farmers and what we call cheat code, which used to be called the Chef Special. I need like a FNGO jig sampler kit with maybe 3 or 4 of the best colors in a pack of trailers. So let me tell you what I'm doing, Jeremiah. I'm going to take, once Groove gets their stock back up, I'm going to take this Groove box, and I'm going to get some in stock. And then I am basically going to fill this up with the colors, and just so you have a complete box. So I don't know how many I can get in there. It's quite a few, but let's just say I can get 50 in there. So those 50, no, we got to be something even because it's three sizes. I'll do a quarter, a 3/8 and a half of one color, and then do a quarter, 3/8 and a half of another color, and just go down to the boxes full. And then sell you basically a complete box, a complete jig box with all the colors you need for North Georgia. And then we'll have some that are the clear water colored jigs, and you have some. But the reality is, it's almost like, and you can have all those because every angler has its own little, they like their, might as well pre-order that box for me, Messick said. I was going to do it with the Planos, but now that I'm with Groove, we're going to move it over to Groove and give them some love. Because their jig box, if you saw it the other night on the live, well, you put a jig in that, you can open it up, turn that box upside down, and you ain't losing a jig, boys. It's staying there. I use a smoke purple jig and a sapphire blue chunk trailer, and guys think I'm crazy. You know what's funny? I don't think you're crazy, but I think as an accent color, purple and chartreuse in Georgia are the way to go. Certain times of year, orange, cold water. And this just is for me tying for people and knowing what they want. But I think having a box, a one-stop box where think of how much money you spend on jigs. If you're buying 50 or something jigs in the box, you give them a little bit of a discount because you're buying so many. But I think it'd be a pretty cool thing. And it's also something that looks really good on the shelf in here so that when somebody's significant other comes in here and they're like, I want to buy something for Billy Bob for, Christmas. Well, does he like the jig fish? Well, I got something for you. We do that with some trout flies. We get it from a company out of Virginia that they're pre-made boxes. That's an awesome idea. I'm like Messick Outdoors. Just go ahead and pre-order mine too. Well, we will figure that out. Green pumpkin purple is the juice for anything with a chartreuse head like what you tied for me. Yeah. Green pumpkin purple on Lake Lanier, on Lake Allatoona, on Carter's Lake, you name it. Danny letting all the secrets out. Purple's deadly down the southeast. I don't have secrets. Unless it's something that's tied up in my closet, I don't have secrets. Because here's the deal. I don't pay my mortgage by going out and fishing against you guys. Don't do it. So what do? We tell guys what to fish with, what they're catching them on. We create that relationship. Dino says, I love green pumpkin magic. It's a good one. Really, in all honesty, if you only, and that we're doing this video and it ain't come out yet. I don't really use a 1/4 ounce, but I'll be needing that jig box too. Listen, we might just do that. Go ahead and I'll start placing an order. I have to figure out how much it's going to cost, and I might let you guys know tomorrow. Chartreuse in that clear water is crazy, but it works. When I first started fishing herring lakes, that was the biggest tip for me. But here's the thing, Messick. Here's the thing. Chartreuse in clear water to a bass does not look yellow. Got to keep that in mind. There is a lot of shades of purple. There is. I got quite a few of them, but there's a couple of them my favorite. Actually, my favorite is purple with blue flake in it. Purple with a little blue flake in it. And that goes on there. That's the one I put. Best bass fishing Southeast region. Those are 21 on TikTok. Ask that question. Ooh. Depends on what you want. If you're going to ask me for spotted bass, North Georgia. I know the Alabama boys will argue with that, but North Georgia. If you're going largemouth, what do you guys think? Alabama? Maybe if you're going smallmouth, if you're going a combination of all three, Tennessee. That's just going on conversations. Green pumpkin, purple, great on kiwi too. Greg Holcomb. Yeah. Green pumpkin, purple works there. I would buy it and try them here in Virginia. Love throwing a jig well over 100 feet. Good Lord, Bill. Well, I might do that. I might tie a sample. Here's what I might do over the weekend. I might tie up a sample box. Tennessee it is. There you go. Dozer 21 said. Well, in Tennessee, man, you can go get them smallmouth too. And I know you can catch a few here in Georgia. You can catch some in Alabama. You know, Gunnersville might be the hottest lake right now as far as size and weights, but still. I started throwing redbug finesse worms in the Chestatee River and absolutely wore them out. Redbug's a great color. It's a very good color. Lake Murray for largemouth. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Black and purple with a GP trailer. Man's not lying. I use a little chartreuse in most anything, but also some purple in anything. Imitates a bluegill, orange, and reds in my crawl patterns too. That's the thing. I think the purple. Oh, we were talking about the chartreuse. Chartreuse looks white. A very, very bright white. Because remember, bass are missing the blue cone. They only have the red and the green. Now, again, we talked about it the other day. I haven't asked a bass that, but according to the guys in the know, and I listen to the guys in the know, the only color that looks the same to a human being's eyes and to a bass's eyes is June bug. Again, I'm going based upon what somebody else said. But they say that is the only color. And Tim McGuire, he'll be up here tonight on the show. We watched that video and everything, and we've seen that several times in several different places, that June bug is the only one. So if you're catching fish on June bug and you like the color June bug, the fish like June bug. But I think chartreuse is something that gives them something to target to. Maybe, I don't know. But I think the purple, when you get purples in there, you think of a bluegill. You think of a bluegill turned sideways. Let's see. Okay, I thought I missed a comment over there on TikTok. But those bluegill, you catch a good old kitty brim, you know what I'm talking about? They're very dark. They're very dark. And then you hold them to the lights, got you get those little colors. So I think, but the problem with jigs is this, and this is something I heard Ryan fuss about a lot. And it's something that I now experience a lot. People overthink a jig. Drew Cook can break the colors down for you. I need to call Drew. I talked to him right after his NPFL win, and I saw him down at ICAST. But he can break down the colors. He'd be a good one to do. But the worst in the world, and then, I mean, they're good. They're fine people. They're fine people. Is a guy that hold on a second. I've heard the colors bass see the best are reds, greens, and blues, but of course black and white too. Just weird. Sometimes they all want to eat is chartreuse. So just think about it. Bass have a red cone and a green cone, and whatever combination colors you can get with those is what a bass actually sees. They don't have the blue cone. I've piddled with colors for years. Yeah, I know you have. But the guy that orders a jig, and on a lot of jigs, I put 4 strands of chartreuse in it. 4 strands of chartreuse in it. And they'll go, I only want 2. Well, just take one and pull 2 off. No, you got to make it with just 2. or I need them 2 chartreuses at 9-3 or 10-2. And I'm sitting there like, okay. Or I wire tie. I don't use bands. Well, I don't want the copper wire. I only want the black wire. It's just, and again, you make them for people and you make them how they want them, and it's fine. But I sit back thinking, like, you think that bass is going down there and he's looking at that thing saying, I'm not going to eat that because it's got a copper wire and it's not black wire tied. Now, Stephen Bardet of Allatoona fame, he makes the same argument. Hey, 706, I need to ask you a question too. Are you on Facebook? Because I got a question for you. I want to reach out to you after the show. If you're still on, I just see your name popped up. But bass are not going to just hit a jig because you said he's. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. I'm going to reach out to you on Facebook after the show, if you don't mind, and not in a creeper way. Business. That's a bit much asking for that. But he says a bass is not going to just hit your jig because it's wire tied and his is, rubber tied, got the rubber thing on it. And I agree with him. The only reason I don't use rubber is because it breaks down. And I want you, if you use a jig one time this year, stick in your box, take care of it, keep it dry. I want that jig to be able to be thrown same time next year. The reason I love your YouTube channel is because you do share the information. Messick, his dad, and I are always sharing information with each other. I've yet to be convinced that's that big of a deal. Tim Hancock, I believe you. Well, that's the thing. That's exactly it. John G, just like we were sitting around the campfire. 100%. I would love to have a campfire of 800 people. We're just sitting around, and it wouldn't change. It wouldn't change. And I tell all the guys that Tony and them, they probably have gone back to work and all that, but they can tell you when I want to let somebody do. Here's a perfect example. I can't hire just anybody to run the shop once they get it full. The reason being is because people come into our shop after watching us on social media and interacting with us on social media, and they have that same expectation when they come in the shop. It's one of the reasons I think a lot of smaller shops are failing, is because I think you need to stop what you're doing and concentrate on the customer and concentrate on those conversations and stuff. So I can't just hire anybody. And I tell Tony and them, hey, run it like that. We're all around the campfire, and that's why. And again, like I told you, I'm not fishing. I'm not paying my mortgage payment by fishing tournaments. And if you are a guy that's not a professional, okay, and you're trying to make your mortgage payment by winning a local pot tournament, you might not want to be fishing that pot tournament. Hey, Dan, what's your go-to shaky head worm right now? Well, I tell you what I am going to be throwing this weekend. With that chicken rig, I'm going to be throwing Zoom. I am going to be throwing Zoom, and it will probably be Green Pumpkin Magic, or it will probably be black. And I'll tell you why, because Latham has leeches. Or it might be Green Pumpkin Blue. But I'm just I'm honestly on that yak. That's all I'm putting. One rod, throwing a chicken rig, which is basically shaky head kind of thing, presentation. And I got top water. And I'm not taking 1,500 other rods. There ain't no need in it. I'm going to commit to the chicken rig. Yeah, when you get to those rubber skirts, it can twist around with the rubber on a jig. I just am always afraid to. And also during COVID, and this is true, during COVID, the bands that we would get in were not nearly as good as the bands that we had previously purchased. You could tell. You absolutely could tell. But I just trust wire tie. Can a banded jig catch fish? Just as good. I just don't think over the long, hopefully, if you don't get it hung up, life of a jig, that the rubber stands up. Put 100 jigs in a Ziploc bag. That's what someone said, and I'll just go grab one and go with it. A lot of people overthink the colors. There's Farmer. What's up, buddy? But I'm going simple. And I am going to, because I think Dave's going to finally. Dave has been on the podcast a few times, and then work got really busy. We ain't seen him. I think he's coming up here to hang with us tonight because we got Robert Blesky coming on, and in his honor, that's what I'm going to throw Saturday is a chicken rig. And plus, I don't want to take 15 different things. And if the fish ain't biting, guys, all I got to do is pull my yak up and walk across the street. And I'm at home. I'll be eating a sandwich. Black Zoom on the river, fire. Now the craziest jigs though, I tied one for Farmer knows who I'm talking about. Really cool dude on Lake Altoona named Mr. Andrew Murphy. And we tied up a jig for him. We called it the Murphinator. And Farmer, remember, let me write, I'm going to type this down. Remember the colors that were in that jig? It seemed like there was some bubblegum pink, purple, black, green pumpkin. I mean, it was like 5 different colors. It was the awfulest looking jig I ever tied. And he said, oh, it'll catch fish. And so what I'm putting Steve Sturgeon for bait makers, anybody that has a small tackle company that wants to get their baits in our store, right there, I'm putting my phone number. Sky Blue was in it as well. I told him already, Farmer Special, the 2 jigs I do is yours. You had the bland one, and then the other one was the cheat code. But right there in the comment section, Steve Sturgeon, is my email address. 706. I make my own baits too. Yeah, I know. That's why I said, hey, I want to reach out to you on Facebook. I'm all for supporting everybody. So I saw that. And I'm like, I think, and I'm also going to ask you because it's like, you got 706 Fishing, and I thought you might have been part of another 706 company. And I want to make sure that I got you down as the right one. But yeah, like I'd love to support you 100%. But if you see there on YouTube, and I don't know how to do it on TikTok, but 678-283-6700 is our business number, and it is also my personal cell number. And I will tell you this, don't call me. Text me. Not because I don't want to talk to you, but because Bob from, let's just say overseas, calls me 25 times a day. And it's always from a local number. And I think that might be a customer. And he gets me every single time. Or if you do decide to call, leave a voicemail and I'll call you back. Or you can email me, Danny@fngo.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me, Stephen. I used to use a blue jig. All blue worked great at Weiss. Now, Tim, when you say blue, are you talking about like a very bright blue or like a darker hue? I'm just curious. I guess if you got 10 colors in the same bait, they got one. You got one of them that they want. That's it. And Farmer says, yeah, because he never answers his phone. Listen, I'm a busy man. And just because, you know what? You might get Dane on the phone and then I end up in a 3-way party line call with half of Lake Allatoona. I got a buddy of mine. He's a great guy, but he's always calling me on his phone. Yeah, Bob blows your phone up too? Yeah. He's always calling me on his phone when he's got his wife in his Jeep. So number one, top's down, and it's loud anyway. And now I got a conversation going on with him, and his wife's got a comment in it too. So it's like 2 conversations, and I don't know what the protocol is. It's kind of like a text message. You guys know, like, when do you end a text message? Like, do I need to give them a thumbs up just to say, hey, I got the last one? Can I stop on that one? I have a hard time with phone calls. And also, too, because back in the 80s, we didn't have call waiting. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have any of that stuff. So if you want to talk to your girlfriend, first of all, you had to wait through an hour and a half of busy signals because her sister or brother was on the phone. And then you finally got them on there, and then you're talking all night. And I don't know how many hours of my life I wasted laying in the bed tonight talking to a girlfriend or something like that. And even had a couple of them that were crazy. I'd fall asleep, wake up 20 minutes later, they still rambling. Or they're just sitting there and they're like, well, I know you fell asleep. I was just waiting on you to wake up. I'm like, man, that's weird. So the phones ruined me back in the 80s, early 90s. It was more of a sky blue. So I think Dana with FCP Fishing, he does a lot of blue in the baits that he pours. Blue is a good color. I mean, I'm not going to dog blue. They were rizzing you up. There you go, Messick. I was rizzing. Remember, that's what I said. What is Riz? Like, yeah, I guess so. I guess that's the way. But anyway, but that's what I'm going to do. That's the 3 colors that I'm going to take. I'm going to take black because Latham does have leeches in Latham. So a black worm at certain times works very good. I will have the green pumpkin magic that looks more goldish. Not green pumpkin magic. It might be magic. What the hell is it? Green pumpkin something, but it looks very goldish. And then I will have a green pumpkin blue. I'm not going to dye any tails. I'm not doing anything. I'm taking out my spin rod with my Cast 12, putting on an 8-pound Tatsu leader, put my hook on, and I am just going to do this. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to just see how that kayak feels. And the biggest thing you guys were talking about it up there earlier is, how's it going to feel when I'm done? Messick Outdoors dad is the man at jig and worm fishing. I tell you what, Farmer's pretty tough at it too. He's very good at it. What pound cast braid are you using? X12, 12 pound. Coleman, there you go. Celebrating my boss leaving, tuning in late todays. Are you talking about Abby, or are you talking about like your work boss? Because you got two now, you know. You got two bosses now. When you get a fiance and you get married, not only do you acquire her family, which can be good or bad depending on who you get married to, but you also acquire another boss. Just some words of wisdom. There you go. Creative Crouton, I see you. How you doing out there? Try a black with some red flakes on the worm. An old electric blue with chartreuse tail lizard was killer back in the day. You know, nobody throws lizards anymore. Nobody throws lizards anymore. Tim, that's my go-to. Now, Jeremiah, women are not weirdos. I've been called because she wanted to talk about nothing and listen to you breathe. He says my work boss. Y'all need to know working for the government is not the best thing in the world. What about Scuppernong? It's a good color. I'll tell you, when it comes to colors, what do you have confidence in? That's the best color you can throw. Flukes are great on the river too. I ain't taking a fluke, but I could nose hook one with that rig if I wanted to. But flukes are great everywhere. They're great everywhere. But I will throw a lizard on an old Carolina rig. Yeah, so will I. That's the only time. Except for in a tournament this year on Latham where we found a few bedded fish. Now, don't want to get into the argument of whether you should bed fish or not bed fish, but we're fishing for money. Couldn't get them to hit anything. And in my worm bag, I had a power bait. It was a Berkeley one. Dana's throwing the new 6th Sense lizard, says Moist Donut. I'll have to check that out. So in my tackle box was a black with that almost like that blue you're talking about tail. You guys know the lizard I'm talking about. Black, big 6-inch. I was fishing a weightless rig because on my wacky rig, and all I did was I nose hooked that lizard right up under the thing, come out right between the eyes. Definitely way too small of a hook for it. But I flipped that joker over in that little spot, and I had already casted this spot for an hour. That lizard went down right past it. I could see it, clear water. I pulled it 6 inches right into the center of that sweet spot right there, and that thing annihilated it. I mean, annihilated that lizard. I'm sitting there thinking, why don't I throw a lizard more often? You're not going to take a Sebile for those blow-ups on Latham. So, again, I'll have the Groove hard bait box. This is the only box I'm going to take. And so it will have some Sebiles in it, but I'm going to basically throw Chrome EPOP. Chrome and blue EPOP. I'm telling you that thing right there. Hundreds of brim beds on the Oconee River right now. Let me tell you something. We talked about this. I've talked about this with several people. And I had another conversation in the shop today this morning. Alex mentioned it too. Alex is probably back at work already. The brim beds on Latham that you normally see up shallow and all that, we were not seeing them this year. Guys are finding the brim beds or have found the brim beds from this year. They're down in 15 to 25 foot of water. All your big brim beds. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. You pull up, you see all the tires everywhere and everything. That didn't happen. There was a few, but that didn't happen on Latham like it had in years past. How are y'all fishing brim beds? Farmer, if you're still here, throw it out in the comment. Guys are throwing everything. It depends. Again, are we talking a brim bed Messick where it's supposed to be up there in a foot of water, 2 foot of water? Or are we talking about the ones back that we're seeing this year in 15 foot of water? That makes a difference. I will put a Magnum lizard on a 5-aught weightless and throw it across mats. Yeah, I get that. I can see that too. A popper is the way a lot of guys are doing it. I know some guys that will throw a big glide bait across it. Some of these guys have been jumping on the show and all that. They'll throw a glide bait. Popper works. Popping frog. You can throw just about anything. Prop bait. I was getting ready to say devil's horse. Prop bait, swim jig, a jig, and a glide bait. Bluegill colored jackhammer is on fire on Latham. I might listen. I ain't got a jack. I might have a blue. I don't know if I got a bluegill colored jackhammer, but I do got skirt material that I can tie one real quick. But I really just want to keep it simple because I just want to see how I feel in the boat or in the kayak. I used to flip a lizard a lot, either black and red or a pumpkin seed with a pearl lamb or pearl laminated. Interesting. Lizards work best for me in the spring, says Mendel Bird. Which areas of Lanier do you have good brim beds? And Kurt Blackador says, Ghost Baby Gill for the win. Silver Punk, me and Farmer went all over that lake. Not all over that lake. We went a lot of places. The only time we saw a bunch of brim was when we were at a green light. Honestly, the standard pull up to a flat, shallow back of a pocket, back of a creek, and seeing just the tires and brim all in there. This year, for whatever reason, it's not there. A wacky rig is great around brim beds. I didn't want to say that, Farmer, because everybody just probably figured I'd throw that anyway. What's up, Tom? A popper around a brim bed is killer. Maybe throw a wacky worm or a floating worm too. And then Farmer says that G-Crack bellows gill. He likes throwing that. That's a good one. And is Latham a kayak only lake, or can you put a big boat and just use a trolling motor? Latham is an electric only lake. You cannot even have a gas tank on your boat. So you cannot put your regular boat in there. I was going to say flip a wacky over there by the beds. Where'd y'all go so I don't go there then? We went up the Chestatee. We put in at Thompson. We went up the Chestatee. Then we went down, I don't know. Farthest south we went was Van's Tavern. And then worked our way up. But not all of it was during the daytime. So, I don't know. But anyway. All right, guys. So, hour and a half we've been going. And I actually got to do some work. So, and I got to eat my lunch because I've done 2 days of this diet. And Clint Bartlett's already saying, where's your pictures? I have to take a picture of every meal I do and send it to him. I asked that question, said I put a trash bag on the motor. The answer was no. Yeah, you can't have it. I'm serious. You can't even have a gas tank. But anyway, tonight at 8:00 on the live well, Rob Robleski of the NPFL will be on there. Good day, Dozer. Appreciate you joining us, buddy. Sorry about cutting off the original one. He'll be on. Father Time will be in the house. Tim will be in the house. We're going to continue to talk about this grind that everybody's on. Enjoy your protein, Danny. Yeah, I know it. Good Lord, I've had more protein in the last 48 hours than I've had in the last month. But it's going to be a good show, Farmer, for sure. But we're going to continue to talk about the grind during the heat. But now that heat's getting ready to break, boys. It's getting ready to break. And we'll see how the fishing changes. Because it's supposed to be a little rainy and cooler Saturday than what it's been, sitting here on the gates of hell the last couple of days. But anyway, you guys join us tonight at 8. And if I don't see you tonight, we'll see you tomorrow. 78 is the high Saturday. See? Fall-like weather. You know what's going to happen? Every daggum woman in the world is going to be drinking pumpkin spice lattes or something. They're going to come out with it. You watch it. It's almost spice time of the year. It is almost that. Superior Trailers. I ain't going anywhere. They call us the ball and chain for a reason. Listen, boss lady, I didn't say that. And I will say this, that I've said that to my wife a time or two. There's a few words that you can't say to a lady and you shouldn't say to a lady. But the one that you can say, and it doesn't sound bad, but you say ball and chain, woo, that give you some looks right there. But anyway, it's 100 out and water temps are about the same. Moving water is the key. Be sure to eat some salad, cheese, tonati pepper with that protein. I'm going to try. In fact, when I leave here, I'm going up to the IGA to get me a salad. I got a craving for a salad for some reason. But anyway, y'all join us tonight. If you're in the area, if you're in the Fish North Georgia area, I don't lock the doors till 7:50. You guys are always welcome to jump on, come in here, sit down behind us, and just be a part of the pregame and then you're back on shift work, so you didn't get to go fishing. Farmer, I don't want to hear it. We'll go again. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys on TikTok. And again, the original TikTok, I had people watching all over and I messed it up. But boiled eggs in the salad is the best. Listen to you guys giving me all this dietary advice. I told him I think I could do everything, but I can't give up the Pepsi Zeros just yet. He wants me to drink 100 grams or something like that, or whatever, water a day too. I feel like I'll drown, and I'll pee every 5 minutes. But y'all have a great rest of your day. Join us tonight at 8. And if we don't see you tonight, we'll see you tomorrow here with the last lunch break of the week. And I don't know what we'll get into, but we'll get into something. So appreciate you guys. I'm going to kick off you guys on YouTube first. This is where I need a secretary doing these things. That's why I love my guys tonight. But I'll see you guys here in about, I don't know, 6.5 hours. You guys be good.